Good afternoon, all. This is Pramit Shengupta, research scholar, Techno India University, batch 2425, Department Management. Uh, this will be a faceless presentation, so let me apologize to all of you before I start, as my front camera is not working. Last night I tried to upload, but due to technical glitch, it could not happen. Today it will be on air. The topic, which is assigned by TIU, it says POQ and GIT, the applications and benefits of safety stock, reorder level, lead time in managing stock out and overstocking situations. And before we start, let me clarify that this should not be treated as a research presentation. I'm sorry. This should be treated as a pilot study based on an assigned topic. This mode we will go about. Now, this topic is a vast one. It's a topic of cost and management accounting, decision making, and materials management, somewhere around overlapping into systems as well. Now, my approach to the exploratory study and presentation will be like this. If you remember the slide from our beloved Dr. Gautam Shengupta sir's presentation of qualitative research and quantitative research, there we have seen how to introduce inductive qualitative research in case study method. Now that will be my type of presentation. It starts off with one observation. It finds a pattern. It creates one hypothesis or even more. And it develops a theory. Now here, last two steps of the approach will be missing, as this is not a research case study. This is just an exploratory study. And most importantly, it is not based upon empirical data, because we know many of us are from legal science and chartered accountants in our batch, so they will also realize this, that cost accounting records are not only hard but also impossible to find open source. So that is the reason mainly this last two steps will be overlapped into some other approach, but first two steps will be constant. Let us start with the pattern and the observation. If we can recognize this, the Maruti Suzuki India Limited approach in last year, if we follow around Economic Times and Net, then we must have seen such fact sheets in last August. It talks about some reduction of lead time, stock out situations to be adjusted with Kanban and safety stock, overstocking to be coupled with GIT flow, and most importantly, reorder level adjusted to buffer time, lead time reduced to within 24 hours, and stock out and overstocking situation handled by control of production level. And it was the decision when Maruti called a day that production must be cut to manage the inventory system. Now, what is the situation? Situation is we see less cars in the showrooms of Maruti. We don't know the reasons. We find some fact sheets if we are researchers, and out of these facts and figures, we need to find a resolution of decision that was taken from the company side. This is the type of investigative research. Now, this case study discusses about the parameters or the metrics which is mentioned in the left hand side of this decision making and how it finally manages the situation of stock out and overstocking. So this is our observation, and in this pattern, we will conclude our topic to the decision that how an overstocking and stock out situations should be handled through these metrics in due course of examples and applications of production in company. So let us start our journey with conceptual inputs, and slowly we will get into the topic with company examples, because ultimately this is all about case study based presentation. Here we go. Our two basic parameters, which are EOQ and GIT, upon which the entire tools of materials management will be adjusted to explore what are the situations of materials management and how to overcome the ultimate two situations of overstocking and stock out. So before going into that deep, we need to know what are these two metrics, especially if we are from non-finance background. Maybe you have heard the terms. Let us recollect the situation. The EOQ primarily, we will explore this EOQ and GIT from 6 separate angles. The first angle will be the philosophical angle, because not only for the degree name being Doctor of Philosophy, but basically it's all about philosophy, whatever subject we are reading or even practicing. So philosophy is the first parameter we should look up to. Now basically philosophy-wise, EOQ focuses on minimizing total inventory cost, which is the ordering cost summation of holding cost. Now basically these two meaning cost of orders and cost of storage in plain and simple terms. There are many other explanations, but these are plain examples of this formula. On the other hand, GIT emphasizes on minimizing inventory level and wastage, most importantly. This is the main philosophical difference between EOQ and GIT. If we come to the realms of ordering strategy, we will find EOQ determines the optimum order size and what is the frequency of that. Whereas GIT aims to order smaller quantities but in more frequency. That is, it focuses upon the real-time demand of the market. Now, what is the market? We will look into that matter later on. Then we come to another angle of these two aspects, that is the inventory level, the very ground level of these two aspects. From there, we find that EOQ allows safety stocks and buffer inventory management, basically. But GIT aims to eliminate the excess inventory. Basically, timing of production is a precise matter in this process. From supplier side, the difference between EOQ and GIT we find EOQ focuses upon transactional supply relationship. That means in and out. But GIT requires more of a strong, reliable supplier partnership for a long-time delivery. Responsiveness and flexibility, if this is a parameter of difference, then we will find EOQ is less flexible. The sudden change in demand. Now, when that happens, situations like this, what's going on? War, pandemics, vote in our country like this, and many other aspects which disturbs the movement of market in regular basis. There we find it is less flexible. On the other hand, GIT is highly responsive but vulnerable to supply chain disruption. If we again talk about pandemic situation, go back 3-4 years back, then we remember what was the price of an onion. And that is one of the primary examples how it affects the market. Now, cost aspect. Next angle is cost aspect. EOQ minimizes the ordering and holding cost. We have already discussed that. And overall operational wastage should be minimized through GIT. That is the main prima facie of this. Where it should be implemented, both sides of the coin. UQ is more suitable for stable demand for predictable supply environments that we have already looked into. Now, GIT basically focuses on lean production environments with integrators. What is that lean production? Later on, we will again discuss about this. Finally, we come down to the complementary use, which is the complementary use means the use in togetherness as a process of production and how they work simultaneously for the betterment of the manufacturing hub. Now here, EOQ can be used in strategic planning, but on the other hand, GIT is in operational execution. We can see the application area of GIT. Together, they can optimize both the long-term cost is most important parameter and equally short-term efficiency they can increase. So cost and operational efficiency both can be taken care of if these two parameters of materials management is working together in a production environment. That is the focus of the study. Now, as we talked about, this will be a company-based case situation and discussion to that and coming to a conclusion. So on that path, we will find some examples from automobile component manufacturer is using these two concepts of material management, working together and producing together for effective products in the market. Now, for an example, a company of automobile sector producing automobile components can use EOQ to determine the optimal product quantity, which is most important, and commonly used materials like steels and plastic. This is from the side of EOQ. On the other hand, GIT could be implemented for specialized components or materials for short time lead time, and most importantly, to reduce the inventory holding cost for improved production efficiency. Now, what is that? Let us take an example from my working area. That what I have seen when Andal Airport project was introducing first smart sky-based aerodrome, Sky City we are talking about. I did not know, or even till day, I think there is hardly any sky aerodrome city in India other than this. So that was a specialized of these type of category company. Now what they did to build the construction of that sky city, smart air city, they had hired the technologies of Changi and they had fusioned that with JSW and LNT in terms of production. Now this is talking about that type of specialized materials or components which can shorten the lead time, can handle the inventory cost of holding, and equally improve the efficiency of production for the quality of final delivery. So this is the company-based application which we are talking about. If GIT is seen as such type of specialized construction company, or other can be applicable. UQ is applicable for general any manufacturing for specifically determination of optimum product quantity. The main area of use for these two material management concept into application. Moving on, the first of the many stock aspects which we will dive deep now, which is balancing the UQ and GIT factor to reduce or even the removal of those two first components which you have seen in the fact sheet, which was overstocking and stock out. Now, first of these components are known as safety stock. What is that safety stock? Acts as the buffer stock against uncertainty in demand and supply. Again, in emergency time, helps to prevent stock out in production halt. It ensures that production must go on. Now, in UQ system, how it works, basically, it accommodates the lead time variation. First of the primary principle is this: acts as an absorber, maintains service level during unexpected demand, does not allow the production level to fall, and most importantly, allows the business to place order on optimum quantity. This is the most common function of EOQ with safety stock. In JIT, as we know, it eliminates the wastage, so hereby it minimizes the safety stock. That is the principle, philosophy behind it. Reliance on safety stock indicates inefficiency in JIT. Just the other side of the story. And minimal safety stock may maintain a contingency high risk environment. So push and pull, both of these two parameters helps the safety stock to be in balance and keeps the danger of production halt out of the equation. How they manage the risk? Working together. EOQ safety stock absorption reduces emergency order cost. And JIT safety stock management increases vulnerability to delay and demand fluctuation. The two sides of the coin. From inventory holding aspect, EOQ affects some of the carrying and the safety stock cost. JIT treats holding cost as waste, that is why pushes for better coordination instead of inventory piling up. This is the pattern of inventory holding from both two aspects, EOQ and JIT, with safety stock. How they use it strategically for betterment of industry. EOQ can support constant operation, and JIT real-time data, we all know that. Safety stock is essential for EOQ. In JIT, the goal should be reduce the need of safety stock, just the opposite to that. Now, an example can be seen in steel industry, where the safety stock acts as a balancing point between EOQ, JIT, and itself, the buffer stock. Next parameter of balance between EOQ and JIT is reorder level. How they act? What is that concept? The inventory level at which a new order is triggered or replenished for a stock. That is called reorder level. As simple as the name itself. Based on lead time demand, to avoid the stock out and halt of production, this is done. Now again, we will see this aspect from both angles, that is EOQ and JIT, and then we will combine that towards application in company-based production. So EOQ basically ensures timely ordering alignment for quantity basis. Now the formula goes like this: lead time into average demand, that is known as reorder level, helps to maintain optimum inventory level for, again, smooth production flow. So here EOQ is not only controlling the cost part, it is also monitoring over the process of production, and there should not be any stoppage to that. Additional part of EOQ contribution, we can say. It incorporates a safety stock to mitigate risk from demand variability. That is the main function of EOQ in reorder. Moving on to JIT part of reorder level, we find that it eliminates the need or the fixed reorder level. Demand-driven replacement, basically, often it is found real time. Now, reorder signals are generated through one system, again, of a Japanese concept, which is known as Kanban system. Now, if you are new to this term, let me give you an example where you can find it very easily. If you have seen MS project in operation, and if you have seen one project overview dashboard, where it depicts the entire process flow of your projection in one slide or in one page, that is the most easy example of a Kanban system. Basically, it triggers the entire flow of a production process in one pictorial depiction. That is Kanban system. Very few errors in 1 million attempt. Japanese concept again. It emphasizes on supply responsiveness rather than inventory monitoring. That is the main philosophy behind this type of system. If we look into operational impact of reorder level from both two sides of VOQ and GIT, we will find reorder level ensures uninterrupted operations for cost efficiency, GIT on real-time data reduction for inventory and sensitivity delays. How they minimize the risk together? EOQ uses reorder level as buffer. GIT minimizes the reorder buffer, requiring strong coordination for reliability with suppliers. This is how they work together to reduce the risk in production. As a conclusion, we can say reorder level is critical to EOQ inventory planning, and GIT's role shifts to dynamic demand push and pull triggers than static stock thresholding. Again, going into the company-based example where we can find such concepts into application, automobile industry field, we will see the company need to balance the need of components of production, also minimizing the cost of holding large for the inventory side. Now, RWL thereby acts as the balancing agent between EOQ and GIT for production process, where there is a large inventory holding cost. It's applicable. Our next point of consideration from materials management to EOQ and GIT will be lead time. Definition wise, it goes like this: time interval between placing an order and receiving the goods. As simple as that, it is known as lead time. It includes processing of order, production, and delivery time all in one streamline. Now, from EOQ side, the lead time directly affects the reorder level. Higher the lead time, maybe the order level is prolonged. So longer the variable lead time requires higher safety of stock, and it leads to stock out situation. That is why most efficient controlling and monitoring is important from EOQ side. Accurate lead time estimation ensures timely ordering based on this calculation of EOQ. It helps to balance the ordering holding cost, both sides of the cost production, in planning ahead. From GIT perspective, if we look into the matter of lead time, we will see it must be short and consistent to enable the frequent small deliveries. Again, we have seen earlier, GIT emphasizes on small deliveries based on long-term supplier relationships. So that is the concept we are talking about. Fluctuation and lead time can halt to production. So that is how and what should be eliminated to remove the stockout situation. It emphasizes strong supplier coordination in real-time communication so that the small deliveries can take place frequently to remove the stockout situation. Encourages local sourcing. This is most important, or close proximity to supplier for reduction of lead time risk. Because if the suppliers from thousands of kilometers abroad and the supply chain problem is causing increasing problems of lead time, then this can be eliminated through this proximity of supplier by local sourcing through the IT system. That is the solution. Now, how it manages the risk together? In EOQ, lead time variability absorbs the buffer stock, is done through buffer stock. And in GIT, the minor delays can lead to production stoppage due to lack of inventory. These are the areas where it works compensatory together and complements each other to remove the halt in production and, most importantly, the stockout situation by using buffer stock. Strategic importance. What is the significance of this lead time working together with GIT and EOQ? The EOQ system manages the lead time with planned stock level. This is the common area for EOQ. And for GIT system depends on minimizing and stabilizing the lead time. That is the crucial most part of GIT in lead time management. As a conclusion, we can say lead time influences ordering decisions in EOQ, reorder, levels, and most importantly, JIT. It is critical for operational success and continuous flow of production. Again, if we explore the company situations, whether they are following this or not, we will find company like Tata Motor have a scope to implement this through QC, quality control department, and can use time, lead time, as a strategic tool to balance the benefits of UQ and JIT. Minimizing holding cost, optimizing ordering quantity, that is UQ basically, and simultaneously ensuring timely delivery of materials production line in JIT, leading to improved efficiency of production. And definitely the ultimate objective is reduction of total cost of production. This can be done to improve the efficiencies through Six Sigma process and in quality control department in company like Tata Motors. Finally, coming to the topic, what we have discussed till now from UQ, JIT to all these components of materials management, lead times, safety stock, reorder level, these are all done because of this situation, which we have seen initially in the case of Maruti Suzuki, that overstocking and stockout situation does not happen. The entire story is discussed for this point of discussion till now. Now, what is that? Accurate demand forecasting is basically one key criteria for which this topic is discussing the concept still now. Now, what is that? Use of historical data, market trends, and predictive analytics to estimate the demand, because estimation of demand is basically all about production at the end of the day. Helps to avoid both over purchasing and understocking situation and maintains that in control. That is the forecasting part where it should be needed. From inventory optimization technique, can apply EOQ to balance the ordering and holding cost. We can borrow the concept of last day's discussion, which was selective control, stock control method, ABC analysis, where we have seen lowest quality of stock as highest quantity, the highest quantity of stock as lowest quality, vice versa. So here, prioritizing control over high value items of stock can be monitored through ABC analysis. Safety stock management maintains appropriate safety stock on variable demand and lead time production. This can be used. And it prevents the stockout situation specifically during unexpected demand spikes or even delayed supply chain. Again, in times of emergency, this is most important to manage safety stock at a balancing point. Now, how JIT works for this strategy making? It aligns the procurement of the inventory closely with production schedule to reduce the overstocking situation. Eliminates the risk basically. Requires reliable suppliers and efficient logistics, which we have already discussed upon local sourcing based on frequent small deliveries. That is the main prime focus of JIT in overstocking and stockout situation. Regular inventory audit is another parameter which should be imbibed to eliminate such risks of overstocking and stockout, because I think the commerce professionals in our group will agree with me. The cost accounting standard provides for such audits where manufacturing hubs mandatorily annually has to perform this just to monitor these concepts, which are cyclical count of stock checks to identify the discrepancies earlier which happened. This is the primary focus and concept of this. Secondary concept or secondary focus moves into prevention of unnoticed overstocking or shortage. For these two reasons, prevention of unnoticed shortage and most importantly, cyclical counts of discrepancies happen in stock checks. Inventory audit is must for manufacturing companies across the India. Next aspect is ERP, because I have seen modules like PP and also inventory management in action other than FICO, SS, and MM, materials management. This particularly materials management and PP purchasing module discusses and controls the implementation of this software for real-time tracking, alerts, and automatization of ordering. What I'm talking about, if we find a stock shortage situation coming in month next or even 2 months down the line, it can automatically generate next or reorder or order in quantity level through system to the suppliers. That I have seen in action. It has that capacity. Definitely with control from management. What it does other than this, enhances the visibility and controls the overstocking level also. Means both upside and downside risk can be managed through ERP from automation concept, where we don't need to find that when to reorder the stock. It acts basically like a stop loss concept of stock market. Vendor management inventory system, basically based on agreed threshold level between suppliers and parties, reduces the burden on internal resourcing and improves the replenishment accuracy. Vendor management. What is the flexible reorder policy for all these concepts? Adjust the reorder point quantity based on seasonal market when the demands are high and low. Based upon that, increases responsiveness to dynamic demand condition based on again the fluctuating push and pull of demands. Company example can be mentioned as JSW Steel, where they successfully have implemented this inventory management system in the steel industry of India, which where we can see the mentioned tool as we have discussed till now in use in materials management as a balancing point for manufacturing process, just to ensure those two concepts: no halt in production and ordering cost at minimum. As we have seen, as we have said already, that this is not based upon empirical study. So here are some referential caselets, small cases, situations which are company based, where we find that these situations are being maintained to remove the stock out or overstocking situation in which companies across the country. Now, first of all, if we see the Birla Carbon India Private Limited, they are using this materials management system just to improve the efficiency of production. The reference of literature you can find in Satyavama. Second one, JK Tires, along with MRF and Apollo, both the leaders of Indian tire market, suggesting a higher degree of focus in materials management on inventory control, can be found in MacFirst reference. And if you log into ijprems.com, you will find pharmaceutical companies like Cipla, they are also using this inventory management practice for improved material management system. Although it's a limitation, as I discussed, that based upon cases, situations, and concept, we have discussed the entire study till now from interactive style. But there should be some other literatures which are purely academic, which I have mentioned here, and this is based upon a format. I remember a meeting 7, 8 years back when a director from another company came along and sat with our center director, and the first sentence he uttered that, oh, that presentation of you commerce people will have only rows and columns. As it is fact for a commerce statement, this format is also a fact for a research presentation. So I could not go outside this parameter, but these literatures basically pointing down to the conclusion of our study, which I'll mention here, right? And that is most important and concluding note to my presentation. It talks about the reinforcement, supply chain safety, stock optimization, first and foremost parameters of these bibliographic reference. Second most important concept, we find that optimal ordering policy of inventorying system with quantity dependent setup in cost can be done. And third, last but not the least, optimization of multi-product supplies with efficient lead time management can be done through PSO. So these are the observations from my study I have shared and mentioned with you. With this, I'd like to extend my thanks to all my audience for being a patient listener till now. I'd request Anup sir, my colleagues, especially who are from legal sciences and chartered accountancy, to comment about the presentation and throw your notes and questions to me. I am reachable at fen.promit.official@gmail.com, which is the registered email ID with university. Also the WhatsApp number, which is there in the group, 6289120612. You can throw any questions of this topic on materials management anytime to me. Thank you once more. Signing out, Pramit Sengupta. Have a good day.